I'm here today to talk to you about something that is really rather serious, and I hope that this doesn't upset you. If anything that I talk about affects you, then I will be putting some links into the description box below. And I've also just had a fountain pen explosion, so my hands are blue, so sorry about that. Okay, so I'm here to talk about Mental Health Awareness Week, which is this week. It's the 16th to the 22nd of May 2016, and it is run by the Mental Health Foundation. So if you would like to find out any more about that, then do check out the link below. Their theme this year is relationships, and I was going to do a relationship themed video, but then I thought that I would just do a coming out video as such. So many of you who are here through cross stitch and whatnot will not know that I suffer from ill mental health. What that means is that I have both depression and fairly severe anxiety. It all sort of got diagnosed in 2011. I was in the final year of my degree, and I had also just had a very serious relationship fall apart, and I just fell to pieces basically. So, because I have the two kind of sides of my mental health, I'll talk about them separately, although they are both linked. You can't really separate one from the other. So, the depression is a thing that is not just feeling a little bit sad. It's a common misconception that if you have depression, you're sad. And there are people who have a bit of a bad day and they go, oh, I'm depressed. And that's not actually what it is. It's both chemical and physical. So you have physical symptoms, and then you also have the kind of the stuff that happens in your brain that you can't see. Obviously, I'm talking about this from my own experience, so my physical symptoms may differ from somebody else's. They may be something that I attribute to the depression, but that is something else that's sort of unrelated, but this is my experience of it, so yours may differ slightly if you have it, and if you don't have it, then other people's may differ to what I'm saying. When I'm in the depths of my depression, I basically don't want to function. I feel very tired all the time. My muscles feel like they don't want to work. It doesn't matter how fit I am. It feels like moving is an effort. It feels like you're stuck in thick treacle, and to get up, to move around, to walk is just so difficult. I also have a physical feeling of having fire in my brain, and the only thing that I can liken that to is when you're really tired, like when you haven't slept for a day, 2 days, 3 days, and you just really just need to sleep. Like the only thing that you can focus on is the fact that you have to go to sleep. And so that all kind of fogs up the thinking, it makes everything feel difficult, and it just makes you feel like you are very sick. And there's nothing that can explain what that is. And then there's also the kind of thinking aspect of it. So in my case, I feel completely worthless. I feel like everything that I do is a burden to everybody else. I feel like everything is terrible and it's just going to get worse. And I feel really guilty all the time for feeling the way that I feel. So a lot of people just say, just get over it. There are people in the world who have much worse things wrong with them. You're really lucky, you have a loving family, you're not poor, you have food, you have water, you have a roof over your head. You're just being silly because there's nothing to really be sad about. And if that's all it was, then yeah, okay, fair enough. However, things like that make you feel guilty because you know that you're actually really lucky, but you don't want it, or you just can't appreciate it, and that makes you feel guilty. It makes you feel even worse. You feel physically like you are just wrong, and that you like people just don't understand, and you don't understand, and it's just there's no point to any of it. There's also very low self-esteem. You think, how can people possibly like me? I'm so awful. I'm the worst person. I can't get up. I'm just spending money that I shouldn't be spending. I'm eating food that somebody else should have. There's a child in Africa who needs that food. What's the point in me having it? And whenever people are like, oh, you're not worthless, you know, you've got all these things going for you, you've got a degree, I've got a few other qualifications, you can drive, you've got a loving boyfriend, and it just all makes you feel worse because you think, yes, I do have that, but it doesn't feel like that was me, like that was another Corrie sitting over there, and I'm not related to her, and I wish that I could be that person, but I'm not. Obviously, it's not like that all the time. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if I was like that all the time. My watch is going because I've been sitting for too long. Shush, I know, I'm going to stand up later. It goes in a cycle, so sometimes I'm really great, I'm like, yes, I can do this, I can tackle anything, I can get up, I can shower, I can work full time, I can make loads of money, everybody loves me, I love everybody, and other times I just know that I should not be here. And managing that cycle can be quite difficult. In terms of anxiety, I get panic attacks, and that is horrible. I wouldn't wish a panic attack on anybody. In my case, my muscles just go completely rigid, I can't breathe, my heart's racing, I basically know that I am going to die. And then the knowledge of that makes you even more panicked, and it can happen anywhere, it can happen at any time, it can happen when you're with anybody, and you can stop them sometimes there's just nothing you can do, and they are emotionally, physically just draining in every way possible. And mine are triggered by so many different things, mainly social situations. I'm really good if there's like 3, 4 or 5 people, and if there's more than that, then I'm like, okay, I'm going to shut down now. I can't deal with the noise, the people, having more than one conversation going at once, trying to listen to you, trying to make sure I've got whatever is in my hands safe, what's John doing, what's the dog doing, all the various things. It all just overwhelms, and it's too much. And then there's also parts of the depression can cause panic attacks. Like if I'm sitting here and I'm like, right, I'm a capable person, I can write this blog post, I can send this email, I can make this phone call, and then my depression is going, no, actually you can't do any of that, like you're rubbish. That can then trigger a panic attack. So how does this affect my life? How does it not affect my life, basically? I do a lot of stuff online because online is a relatively safe place. There are trolls, there are bad people, and there are people who can make your life online very difficult, but you can learn to avoid those situations. You can turn your computer and your phone off. If it all gets too much, you can just shut it down and walk away from it. And that's really good. It allows me to have a life online and to do some work, which is, I do all of my work online at the moment. I'm applying for jobs, but you know, that's a whole other story. And it means that I just have a community that I can deal with. I don't go out very much, and I don't really drink a lot of alcohol because alcohol is a very bad trigger for me with panic attacks. And then I also took medication. I'm not on medication at the moment because in December last year I decided that I wanted to come off what I was on and to see if that would affect me in a positive way. I wasn't sure if what I was doing, feeling, saying, thinking was affected by my mental health problems or if the medication was doing that. I can conclusively say it was me, it wasn't the medication. Once I took the medication away, things became a lot harder to deal with. But I haven't gone back onto it because I am feeling my self-esteem has improved massively knowing that I can survive without it. We're now in May, so I've been nearly 6 months off it and I'm okay. You know, I'm still here. I have my blips, I have my odd moments, I can't control my emotions always, but I can deal with it without the medicine, which is something that I really appreciate. I have done counselling in the past as well. I've had what passed for CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, where they teach you how to try get out of the cycle of thoughts that your depression causes. I've done talking therapies, I have done physical therapies, and I found it all quite difficult and not very helpful, to be quite honest with you. I never found a therapist that I felt like I could really connect with. Part of the thing is that if you're in a position where you're able to talk about what's wrong with you with somebody, then you're not in the middle of the depressive cycle where you know that you're rubbish and everybody is against you and you're against everybody and you're just not worth it. So it's very difficult to communicate what it's like to be in that cycle when you're not in that cycle. And then you also have somebody sitting there questioning you, which is very difficult. You know, why do you feel that way? Why do you think that way? What made you do that? And you don't know the answer always. I sometimes feel like if I knew the answer, then I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in. And they're trying to help you, but I've never found somebody who I didn't feel like was just judging me a little bit and was just doing a job. And that's very difficult for them, obviously, but it also made things worse for me because there was the whole I can't connect with a therapist and I can't do this and I'm even rubbish at therapy and all these things that I'm doing to try help me are also rubbish and I'm not good at them and I can't do them properly, so therefore I'm worse. So I actually stopped doing therapy because it didn't work for me. Maybe if I'd been able to afford private therapy, because I did it on the NHS, that would have been better, because on the NHS you only get a certain number of appointments and then there's so much demand for the help that if you're not in crisis they actually can't really help you. So if you can afford private therapy, then that's much better because you can do it for as long as you need it, but it's also very expensive and not having a job made it unaffordable for me. I need to drink water, I'm talking too much and too fast. Okay, so I think I've got a bit confused now and I'm already on 12 minutes, so I should probably start to wrap this up. So what can raising awareness for this do? Well, for people who don't have mental health problems, just knowing that somebody else maybe has things that you don't understand going on can help you to interact with them. If people know that I find certain things very difficult to deal with, then they can help me with that. Like if I go to a party and I'm with all my friends and they know that I suffer from social anxiety, then they tend to be a bit better with me. They tend to make sure that I'm okay. If I disappear for 10 minutes because I need some quiet time, nobody questions me about it, which is nice. It's nice to know that they can accept that there is a problem and that you can deal with it and that they don't need to fuss about it. They don't need to judge you, and you can just all carry on in your own little way. If you do have mental health problems, be aware that loads of people have it. I think the statistic that is thrown around at the moment is that 1 in 3 people will have a mental health issue in their lifetime. Hi, I'm number 1. Maybe you're number 4. And it's okay. If you need help, go talk to your doctor if you would like to. The way that I went about it is that my flatmates, one of whom was John, who's now my boyfriend, forced me to go to a doctor because he was like, this is not normal, you are not okay, you need to get help. And I was really like, no, I'm fine, I haven't been to uni, I haven't got out of bed for 4 days, but it's okay, like I'm actually alright, I don't need help. And boy was I wrong. And I actually got really ill, and once I'd kind of accepted that I had a problem, or I was trying to accept that I had a problem, I was then really like, this is never going to get better and I must kill myself. So I was fairly suicidal for a while, and I had to go to a crisis management team in a hospital in London, and I obviously managed to come through it, but it was a very difficult few weeks, and I didn't tell my family anything that was happening. The only people who knew anything about what was going on was John and another friend who I don't even know how he got involved, but I'm ever so thankful that he did. And I still haven't really told anybody about those few weeks. I probably won't ever tell anybody exactly what went on in my head in those few weeks because it's not a very comfortable subject for me and it's not very comfortable for other people to listen to. But the long and short of it was that I went to professionals and I started getting some help and I went on to medication and I came through it okay, and I am still okay. I've had a couple more breakdowns since then. I had one in 2013 and another in 2015. And I'm working on making sure that 2017 doesn't see another one. Whether or not I'm successful, we shall see. But just know that people are dealing with it and that that's okay, and you can do things to help, but mostly just try to behave normal, and if people need help, then encourage them to go get it. I had a friend who was struggling with mental health issues, and she came to me because obviously she knew that I was struggling with it as well, and tried to get the help that she needed from me, and I wasn't equipped to deal with it. And I reckon that even if I had been mentally stable myself, I wouldn't have been able to deal with it, because there are certain things that your friends and family can't do for you. So I would say go to somebody who's not related to you in any way, whether it's by blood or by choice, and get help from somebody who's trained to deal with it, because they will find it easier and you won't feel quite so much of a burden on your family and friends, because you're loading stuff onto them that they may not necessarily be able to cope with. But it is treatable, it is possible to get through it. Trust me, I know, and you can do it if you need to. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm not sure this was a very satisfactory ending to the video, but I hope whatever I said has been useful in either raising your awareness or helping you to think that you might need to get some help. And if you would like to contact me about anything, then do. I have put my contact details in the box below, as well as links to some organisations that can help you if you're struggling. And I've also put a link to information if you would like to find out more about mental health issues and you don't suffer from them yourself, or even if you do suffer from them yourself, but mainly if you would just like to find out more about what somebody else that you know is going through. So I hope that this was helpful. I'm losing my voice. I will talk to you guys all soon, and have a wonderful day and good luck with everything. Bye! I'm really dissatisfied with this as the ending to a video.